Hi and welcome to the review of my sled here. My name is Rolf, and the sled I got here, what you see here in the background, it's a Yamaha Nitro from 2009, Yamaha Nitro XTX. The XTX, at least in 2009, came in a 146 inch long track. Mainly the things I'm going to talk about in this video will be some of the changes I'm going to do to the sled this year. Some modifications I've been thinking about for a few months now. The XTX came in a 146 inch long track. The track I got on this is a little bit longer than 146 inches, but with the tightener screws in the skid, it actually managed to fit just barely. I've had this sled for 2 winters now, bought it 2 winters back, and this is not a normally aspirated sled. This Nitro I got here has a turbo system on it, and from mcxpress. I really enjoy it. It's been really no problems with the turbo system at all. The only problem I actually had was with the mcxpress control box, which we will be looking on later. The problem I had with that was that some of the electronics got burned out and some of the circuits were done, so I had to change that out. Let's start from the front here. I've actually taken off the plastics so you can see underneath the motor better. For example, these skis right here, CA Pro 3. I enjoy these skis because they are wider than the original skis Yamaha comes with, and also these CA Pro skis have a pretty high keel underneath in the middle here. It's like one of these keels. I know some of the mountain sleds have kind of 2 small keels on each side here on the outside, but this one actually got one pretty big one in the middle, and that gives a lot of traction and grip on hard snow, especially if you're driving in high speeds and stuff like that. It gives you more control, and it bites really good on the track. It's a little bit harder to steer with that big of a keel on the skis, but you get used to it pretty fast. The A-arms on this sled is original, same with the front shocks and the suspension. As I said earlier, this sled has a turbo from mcxpress, and if we go to the back of the sled now so you can see how it goes, it's actually a rear-mounted turbo. That's what they do on these Nitros. So here you got the exhaust pipe and the air intake for the turbo. I actually got, if I can find it here, it's made of some sort of silicone, I suppose, which is going in here, and then the air intake comes on top, so it doesn't ice up and get full of snow and stuff like that. You see, it's loose. I lost a piece that's going on top of here, so this thing is covered. And if you look at the track I got on this sled, as I said earlier, this is a ripsaw track. It's called Ripsaw from Camoplast, and I mean the lugs, they are really stiff. You can nearly hardly bend them. That's how stiff they are. And I like these stiff tracks. I mean, you get excellent traction on them. This Ripsaw track is perfect for usage on the trail, and the lugs are actually over 4 centimeters high. They are 4.4 centimeters if I remember correctly. That's what the Camoplast says they are, so I trust them. And the lugs are actually so high and pretty broad as well, so you get some traction in the powder, but for me it's not enough, and that's why I'm going to upgrade my track to a Peak 2.5 with 6.3 63 centimeter high lugs, actually 63.5 millimeter high, and yeah, that's also one of the stiffest tracks you can get for any sled today. So at least that's what people have advised me to get. I was actually thinking first to go to the Challenger Extreme track, just because of the high and broad lugs, but people have recommended me not to do it because they will get soft after a while. I mean, they will be stiff the first year or so, but then they will kind of just loosen up and get more bendable, and you won't get the same traction as you desire, especially on hard snow. When it comes to the track, this has actually given me a lot of thought. Is that if I go to that higher peak track, you get over 1 inch of higher lug height, and that will cause some problems for me as the sled stands now, because the sled won't be able to drive the track around, because underneath here is right where the track comes out of the tunnel. Let me just get the lamp so you can see it better. Right here where the track comes out of the tunnel, with over 1 inch higher lug height, there won't be a lot of space for the track to come out. I don't even know if the track will come out of there as it stands now. So the thing I have to do is I have to change the drive sprockets on the sled and put some smaller drive sprockets. But when I do that, when I go to a smaller drive sprocket, I will have to increase the diameter of the back wheels so the track will actually fit. Because right now the tightening bolts are actually on the highest, or the tightest one, because this track is actually a bit longer than 146 inch. I hope that will solve the problem. I'm actually going to put on a tether on this sled. I mean, it's kind of idiotic that I don't have one already, but this sled doesn't come with one originally. That wasn't expensive. I think I just had to pay about 80 bucks for it. I don't know where the tether will be mounted. Probably here somewhere or on the other side. Also, one thing that I kind of want to fix is the park brake, because I just put some thing to hold it here in place here. I will have to change that out anyway. The wire on the parking brake actually busted here last spring, so that will need to be changed. This emergency stop switch has actually been busted from the previous owner. I don't find it really important to change that out to put a new one. I mean, for me that will only be in the way, because when you are driving in the woods and if you got like a branch coming down and knocking it down or just breaking it away again, I mean, nothing is more annoying than driving in the woods and a branch is just pushing it down. Your engine stops, you pull it out, you start the motor up, back up, and you are going to drive off, and because you don't have any momentum, you get stuck, and that's annoying. So I don't think I'm going to change the emergency stop button. I think I just leave it like this. I actually got a small request from you guys, you who know some things about snowmobiles. A problem I've actually had that's getting annoying is that when I wheelie with this sled, when I'm kind of having fun in the deep snow and playing around with friends, is that after a while the limiter straps here in the front actually break in two. I don't know why they do that, but the Yamaha dealer said that when you are wheeling, the pressure on these limiter straps gets so high that they will just break away. But I've actually heard there's another way to prevent it. I don't know if that's true. This is where I will need your help here. You can actually adjust this front shock, but I don't remember who told me it or how he told me I should do it, but at least to either tighten the shock or loosen it up so the pressure on the limiter straps won't be so high. Also, if anyone knows about limiter straps that are more durable, I would also love to get comments in the commentary felt below if you know about this problem and how to prevent it, if there's something that is shock, how this should be done, how stiff or how loose it should be. Should it be on the stiffest or should it be on the loosest? If there are any limiter straps that are stronger than the other, like for example aftermarket limiter straps that holds more, that are more durable. I would love to know that. The clutching I got on this is actually on the big wheel here. I got a green Articat spring. That's one of the stiffest springs you can get from any dealer actually. I mean, of course you can get stiffer springs from aftermarket productions, but it works great for me actually. When it comes to blowing belts, I've actually only blown one belt the whole time I've had this sled. And of course, here in the front I got some equipment. I mean, I got the a spare belt in there. I got some tools and stuff like that, what you need when you're riding. You never know if you're gonna need it. Here's the oil tank, the battery, the cooling system here, the radiator here. And if we look under the tunnel here, and here you got the turbo underneath the tunnel that's connected to the exhaust system here. I told you before in the beginning of this video that this turbo systems comes from mcxpress. They got their main quarter in their main dealership in Sweden. I mean, I've been blown away with how durable this kit is. This turbo system is set up for 240 horsepower. I can upgrade it if I want it, but as it stands now, 240 horsepower is more than enough for me. Here in Norway, where I live in the tundra, we don't have that high hills and that high mountains that I need more. I mean, this is more than enough for me. When you're riding a turbo snowmobile, it's important to check the oil from time to time, especially if you've been giving wide open throttle for a long period of time, because of course the turbo might burn down some oil. So if you get low on oil, the turbo might kind of break down. Underneath the tunnel here as well, under the seat and everything about here, you got a pre-cooler for the compressed air that comes from the turbo. It goes through that pre-cooler to cool the air before it comes through this tube here and into the intercooler we got underneath here. There's this mcxpress on it. In the 2 winters I've been driving this sled, it's actually gone, let's see, I don't remember exactly how many kilometers it has on it. There you go, 13,250 now. It had 8,000 kilometers on it when I bought it. Now it's on 13,000, so that means in 2 winters I've actually driven this sled 5,000, and I've never had a problem with the turbo system. Not the turbo system itself. The only problem I actually had was with this mcxpress box you got here. This is a 5th generation box. You can actually hook this up to your laptop or something, but you need the software from mcxpress to do that, where you can calculate how much boost this sled is going to have and stuff like that. The problem I had with this sled was that this box, actually, I had the generation 3 box, I suppose. It's a bit smaller than this one. The problem I had with the box was that it kind of just broke down. Maybe it got some moisture in it, and it shut down the circuits or something like that. I'm not sure. Here you got the turbo gauge. Here you got the turbo gauge that shows you how much pressure you got. So if we start up now, you can see it. By the way, I don't know if you could hear it, but there's actually something loose on this sled when it's running. It wasn't the clutch. No, it might have heard like that, but there's something underneath the tunnel here that I'm going to have fixed. Right where the exhaust comes out of the motor and into the exhaust system, there are a few rings that are worn down, and the original rings doesn't actually hold on for so long. I've heard people running turbos and automobiles on these nitros that after one season they actually have to change the rings away because they are all worn out and the sled gets free exhaust, and that's never a good thing when you're riding a turbocharged sled or a boosted sled in any way. So I actually got some of the rings here in the mail. These are made of copper, and these are going onto each cylinder where the exhaust comes out. And these 3 are actually going into the exhaust system, right where the exhaust comes out of each cylinder. So these are actually like everlasting. These are more resistant to heat, and they don't make gaps and stuff like that, and they cool down pretty easy as well, because everyone knows that copper leads heat very easy. These were actually a bit expensive than I thought. The original donuts cost about let's see, under $100, about $80 here in Norway for the whole set. These were actually about $130–40. So, but I think it's worth it. I mean, if you don't have to change these every year, and of course you want to know that your sled is durable when you go out riding. If you're going out for a long ride, you don't want to think about if the sled is going to break down on you. And that's one thing I've learned about the 4-strokes, is that they are very, very durable. You can mistreat the engine a lot and they will still run. I mean, the 4-strokes are just awesome. So yeah, when I'm taking the sled next week to the local Yamaha dealer, he's going to get to put these copper donuts onto my sled. I'm actually also going to do something else with the sled too. Because when I actually bought these high facts last year, and I was kind of thinking about putting them on last year, but the high facts I have on my sled now didn't get worn down before, right before the season ended in May. So these are the new types of high facts actually. They got this rigid part that goes diagonally. They also have drilled holes 2 holes on each. This will be much more durable and resistible to heat. So it will be interesting to see how this will work out. So and those were 3 times more expensive than the original Hyfax. And the thing I'm considering about is to put some eye scratchers on the skid as well. I might be needed to do it, of course, when the track gets up 2 centimeters higher from the ground. This seat is also not original. The seat is made of some really nice fabric. Here on the sides, it's really like you got a lot of traction when you sit on it. I will probably get this sled back from the Yamaha dealer in a few weeks' time to change the oil. I'm going to change the oil filter, the track, get that tether installed, change the copper donuts, also change the Hyfax, and get some eye scratchers on it. Yeah, I think those are the changes I'm going to do. So the price will come to around roughly $2,000, maybe a bit more, up to $2,500. So it will be really interesting to see how the changes will work out. And of course I will be coming back and show you the sled afterwards, after the new track has been installed and stuff like that. So that will be in a few weeks' time. So yeah, stay tuned.